Hello and welcome back to Math with Mrs. Hauk. Today we're going to be starting lesson 13. However, before we do that, I would like for you to get a piece of paper, or if you have a marker and a marker board, I'd like for you to get those things out with you to do a little review after looking at our exit ticket from yesterday. So if you could get that out for me real quick. If you need to pause your video, please do so that you can practice with me. On your piece of paper or your marker board, I would like for you to put these four integers in order from least to greatest. Okay, pretty simple. Least to greatest. So if I would put these in order from least to greatest, I would put, let's see, 3 is the smallest. Then comes 7, 10, and finally 19. Okay. So I would say my numbers are in order from least to greatest. Okay? Now, if I would ask you to put the absolute value underneath each one of these integers, remember absolute value means how far is that number away from 0. So for example, here's a number line I've made for us. It's a little shiny. How far is 3 away from 0? It's 1, 2, 3 places away from 0. How far is 7 away from 0? Well, obviously it is 7 places away from 0. 10 is 10 places away from 0. And 19. For those of you that watched the video yesterday, if you remember, the letters A, V I put just to kind of help us remember that these numbers stand for our absolute value. Well, if you notice, the original integers and the absolute values are in exactly the same ascending order, from least to greatest, from least to greatest. So we would say that the order is the same. The order is the same. You might have recognized that off of your exit ticket from yesterday. All right, now on your marker board, if you want to, or on your piece of paper, I'm going to ask you to write these integers in order from least to greatest. Remember, according to our number line, here's our 0. The farther away from 0 we are to the left, the smaller the number. Well, if I look at these integers, which number is going to be the farthest away? It's going to be negative 33. As I'm moving closer, I'll get to negative 20. I'll eventually get to negative 7.5. And then I'll get to negative 5. Okay? So I've put the integers in order from least to greatest. Would you please do me a favor, and underneath each one of these integers, would you please write the absolute value? So for example, negative 33 is going to be way over here. So how far is it away from 0? Well, it's 33 places away from 0. How far is negative 20? Well, if I count all these, it's 20 places away from 0. How far is negative 7.5? Well, it's going to be 7.5 places away from 0. How far is negative 5? It is 5 places away from 0. So now I have my absolute values here. I would like for you to put them in order from least to greatest. Well, the smallest number now is going to be 5, 7.5, 20, and 33. So I've changed my absolute value to go from least, L for least, to greatest. So from least to greatest with my integers, my original ones, and from least to greatest with my absolute value. Oh, that's not an integer, is it? So if you notice, are these numbers the same? They are not. When I look at negative numbers and their absolute value, the order is different. Okay, the order is different. It is not in the same order. It's basically what we would call opposite order. Okay, good review. If you did not finish your exit ticket from yesterday, please make sure you go ahead and get that submitted to your teacher. And we're going to move on here to lesson 13 today. Okay, so let's look at our opening exercise. It says a radio disc jockey reports that the temperature outside his studio has changed 10 degrees since he came on the air this morning. It says discuss with your group what listeners can conclude from this report. Well, I can obviously conclude that the temperature has changed. The problem is I don't know if the temperature has increased or decreased. So go ahead and write those two words down in your book. Obviously, increase means the temperature's going up. Decrease means the temperature's going down. Okay? I don't know which one it is. All I know is basically the absolute value or the magnitude of the change. Okay? Let's go down here to example 1. A $25 credit and a $25 charge appear similar, yet they are very different. Describe what is similar about the two transactions. Well, the transactions are similar because we're using the exact same integer, right? So let's go ahead and write that down, please. Okay, so you can see what I put. I said the transactions are similar because they both use the integer 25. Okay, so if you want to pause your video so that you can get that written down, that would be great. Okay, the next one says, how do the two transactions differ? Well, obviously they're different because one is a $25 credit and one is a $25 charge. A credit would be something positive to my account. A charge would be something negative. So that's obviously going two different directions on a number line. Okay, so how did I explain that they were different? I said a credit would cause an increase in my account. A charge would cause a decrease in my account. So go ahead and pause your video so that you can get that written down into your book, please. Okay, let's look down here at exercise 1. Scientists are studying temperatures and weather patterns in the northern hemisphere. They recorded temperatures in degrees Celsius in the table below, as reported in emails from various participants. Represent each reported temperature using a rational number. Order the rational numbers from least to greatest. Tori, look at that. You're getting tired of that, I know. Explain why the rational numbers that you chose appropriately represent the given temperatures. All right, so the first thing we have to do is we need to look at our chart and we need to write the integer that represents 8 below 0. Well, below means I'm going to be negative. This is just 12, negative 4. 13 below 0. Below is negative. Next we have a 0. 2 above 0, that's positive. 6 below 0, ooh, that's negative, and negative 5. What I would like for you to do is I would like for you to take these integers and I want you to put them in order from least to greatest. However, I want you to make sure as you list a number, you leave a space in between them. So for example, I notice that the smallest number we have here is negative 13. I'm going to leave a space for the next number, which is negative 8. Okay, pause your video and go ahead and write those numbers in order from least to greatest. Okay, so I have mine in order from least to greatest. Remember, negative numbers obviously are smaller, getting closer and closer to 0. We're going to go ahead and put our inequality sign here. Remember, that's our alligator mouth. Negative 13 is less than negative 8, which is less than negative 6. Since we have them all in order from least to greatest, we can go ahead and put the less than symbol all the way through. So now we have one gigantic inequality statement. Okay, and so once you have this filled in, go ahead and turn the page over to exercise 2. All right, let's see if we can do this one. Oh, we have to know these words, debit and credit, charge, withdrawal. Let's see if we can remember those. Jamie's bank account statement shows the transaction below. Represent each transaction as a rational number, describing how it changes Jamie's account balance. Then order the rational numbers. Oh, look at this. Greatest to least this time. Explain why the rational numbers that you chose appropriately reflect the given transaction. So we're going to go ahead and just write our numbers here. A debit. Debit, is that positive or negative? Oh, that's where that's a negative. And I'm going to go ahead and just drop the 0 for my number right now. A credit, that's positive. Charge. A charge would be, oh, that's negative. We did that on the front page. I'm going to drop the 0 again since it doesn't change my number. 20 withdrawal, negative. So I'm losing $20. Deposit, ooh, I'm putting money in my account. That's positive. A debit, oh, we had debit over here. That would be negative. And a charge, oh, we learned on the front page that that is a negative. What I would like for you to do now is look at these integers. Be careful. put them in order from greatest to least. So if you look at the first number, the number that looks like it's the largest positive number to me is 5.5. Leave a space. Put our next largest number, well, the other positive number that I see is 4.08, and so forth. Go ahead and do that all the way to the end. Pause your video so that you can practice it, and then you can turn it back on to see if you got it correct. So if you notice, I wrote too big, so my negative 20 had to go down here. So I have our 5.5 is greater than 4.08. 4.08 is obviously greater than the negative. Negative 1.5 is greater than negative 3. Negative 3 is greater than negative 3.95. Negative 3.95 is greater than 12.2. And then obviously I need to put my last inequality symbol. Negative 12.2 is larger than negative 20. Some of you are starting to realize how to put your negative numbers in order, and I think that's fabulous. Let's go down to the next one. Problem number 3. Problem number 3 says, during the summer, Madison monitors the water level in her parents' swimming pool to make sure it is not too far above or below normal. The table below shows the numbers she recorded in July and August to represent how the water levels compare to normal. Order the rational numbers from, now they're going back for us, least to greatest. Okay, so go ahead and put your rational numbers in the boxes here, and then I want to see if you can put them in order from least to greatest, and put your inequality symbol. Go ahead and pause your video to see if you can do this on your own. Okay, so I have my answers hidden here first. First of all, check to make sure you have the correct positives and negatives with your rational numbers. And remember, we had to go from least to greatest. The largest, or actually we should say the smallest negative number, the one that's farther away from 0, would be negative 1 1/4. Let's see how you guessed next. The next one would be negative 3/4. We're down to 2 left. Negative 1/2, which would leave the last negative of negative 3/8. Now we're in our positive numbers. We have to put them in order from least to greatest. The smallest one is 1/8, 1/4, and finally 1/2. Okay, so I'm going to skip problem number 4 because I'm going to actually ask you to do that for your homework. I am going to tell you that a rise is a positive number and a fall is a negative number, so you'll write them in here. And then the other thing I'm going to tell you is that when you do your inequality, make sure you do it from least to greatest. Okay, so this will be part of your